fantasy of being an unstoppable, powerful, and dominant force is a feeling that many games try to instill. Ghostrunner accomplishes this in droves, but achieving this feeling takes some work. If you combine the smooth and fluid movement system of Mirror's Edge, traversing open areas with wall running, platforming, and ziplining, with fast, frenetic, kill or die in one-hit style of combat from Katana Zero, you end up with a truly rewarding experience that is what Ghostrunner is all about. The game starts off with you, the Ghostrunner, recovering from a traumatic fall that wipes your memory and leaves you with no knowledge of what happened prior or what the future may hold. The entire game takes place within one location known as Dharma Tower, which houses multiple different areas to explore, with occasional levels taking you outside the tower into the surrounding city, which has been decimated by an event known as the Burst. The story largely takes a back seat, as there are no cutscenes spouting exposition at you, but instead is told through audio logs found throughout the world and a voice known as the Architect in the Ghostrunner's head, similar to a narrator.
You can call me Architect.
Who am I?
You're a Ghostrunner. Number 74, to be precise.
It is not the most engaging story, but it is interesting enough to push through to see what happens to the handful of characters and how the protagonist deals with each new situation. Playing as the Ghostrunner is most commonly compared to a mix of Genji and Lucio from Overwatch, as you have a sword as your main weapon and the ability to wall run on any wall you see. It feels silky smooth and responsive to jump from one wall to another, chaining your movements to traverse the open areas that eventually result in opening a door to the next level. You will frequently be jumping from wall to wall while timing your next jump to grab onto a series of zip lines to reach the end of the level that culminates in a feeling of pure speed and pure fluidity. The environments are not drastically different, but look nice with all the cyberpunk staples like bright neon lights, dark gloomy skies, and stark industrial machinery. While these locations feel a little similar, there are a handful of puzzles to solve, a modest amount of collectibles to find, such as world-building items like audio logs and comics, along with really cool skins for your sword to customize your look. Even though you only have a sword as your main weapon, there are a handful of powers you unlock during the game that make encounters more interesting and easier to handle. One of these powers is called Blink, which allows you to strike up to 3 enemies at once, while another one you get later in the game allows you to basically force push enemies away and send projectiles back the other way. Upgrades come in the form of Tetris-style blocks that you slot into a grid, making you choose which ones to activate based on their shape, with the higher level abilities being larger or having weirder shapes. This is a fine system and encourages experimentation, but ends up being too easy to stick with the ones that you like. As you complete levels, you will encounter a good number of different enemy types. There are your standard single-shot enemies that start off the game. Then as you progress, you encounter enemies that have machine guns, ninjas that you must block in order to kill, and robots that fire a wave of energy that will melt you. These enemies are not too bad on their own, but when the game throws different groupies of them at you at the same time, it becomes a greater challenge, especially when trying to perform precise platforming around them. And a challenge this game is, as the nature of killing and dying in one hit makes learning the enemy patterns and layouts of the environment very important. Mastering the skills in the game requires practice, and you will die over and over and over again. But thankfully, it has a generous checkpoint system mixed with instant respawns to get you right back in the action, as some of the platforming puzzles can be quite tough. None of this action and gameplay would matter if the game's performance is not silky smooth, and I am happy to say that the game runs and remains at a stable 60 FPS while playing on PC. Depending on how many collectibles you want to get and how good you are, the game clocks in at around 7 to 9 hours for a playthrough, but encourages you to go back and replay levels to complete them in less time with less deaths. The game also caters to speedrunners and hardcore gamers alike with how demanding it can be, and as it turns out, the developers had that in mind and delivered on it. At a price of $30, and with this runtime, some might think it is too short, but feels just right for how much content there is and how much story the game provides. Developer One More Level has created this game to fulfill a single feeling, making you feel like a badass cybernetic ninja that is unstoppable and all-powerful. When the game is firing on all cylinders and you successfully wipe out all the enemies in your path, it truly sings. Even though the environments can feel the same, and the lack of real customization with abilities, powers, and cosmetics, Ghostrunner sits solidly at an 8.5, delivering a truly rewarding experience. Whether this is the last time we see the Ghostrunner scaling the walls of Dharma Tower, or the first leap into a new franchise, I am excited to see what the future holds for this fast and precise killer-be-killed slasher.